Hey party people! Welcome to Epiphanies with Ellie, where I'm going to show you epiphanies that I've picked up during my journey. So today I wanted to show you a tool. It's called a belief transformation tool. So have you ever felt like you wanted to change certain beliefs that you have acknowledged in your head? You know, like certain beliefs that you know aren't serving your highest good, they're not helping you to move forward. Well, I'm going to show you today some tools that I've used and that I've picked up to help transform some of the negative thinking, well, really some of the negative beliefs that I recognized in my head. So the first one I'm going to show you is called a belief transformation tool. Now this was taken, I took this from my life coach. Her name is Jenn Shultz. If you want to look her up, you can find her on Google. She's an amazing life coach, and she actually adopted it from her life coach, and her name is Heather Dominic. So you can look her up too if you want to. I kind of modified mine, and I'm going to show you my modified version. So I'm going to go through the steps first, and then I'm going to share with you one of my limiting beliefs from my journal. Yes. And we'll take it from there. Okay, so let me pull up the tool. Okay. So the first step, number one, is to write down your limiting belief, right? So whatever that is, mine was I'm not abundant. So just to give you an example, what is a belief that you have that's limiting you? Write that down. That's step number one. Number two, rate the intensity of this belief on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being like, you know, you don't believe it, 10 believing you really, 10 meaning you really, really, really believe it. Okay. So now, step 3, write down your ideal belief. Obviously, it would be the opposite of your limiting belief. Right? So what's the opposite of that belief? Well, if in an ideal world, what would that sound like? What would it look like? Write that down. Number 4, write down evidence that supports your ideal belief. Now, this is really the meat of the exercise, this writing process, because this is where you do like a total brain dump, right? So you're looking at this ideal belief and you really want to think of every single reason that exists that you can perceive, and you're writing it down. So write as much as you can and push yourself, really, really push yourself to see it, right? Because you're opening up your perspective, you're opening up your consciousness here. So this is really where the magic happens. Number 5, looking at that stuff that you wrote for number 4, I want you to write down some power words, and they should be like emotions, right? So like happiness, joy, satisfaction, relief, they should be emotions. What other examples do I have? Like alignment, abundant, centered, unlimited, enough, connected. So whatever words you feel connected to the most, take these words and place them somewhere visible. So this exercise is, you know, it's a writing exercise, but also I want you to take these words and put them somewhere visible, because these are the words that you need to see and feel into all the time. So put them somewhere where you can see, maybe on your mirror, that's a good place, or in your bedroom, somewhere where you can see them. Now, I want you to rate the intensity of your limiting belief on a scale of 1 to 10. So hopefully you're not believing it as much. Maybe if you believed it at an intensity of an 8, maybe now it's at a 5. So that's it. That's progress. And that's step number 6. And then step number 7 is commit to at least 21 days of challenging this belief. You can also work with other beliefs, but in order for you to really get into the habit of changing beliefs, right, to the point where you're doing it in your head and you don't need to write it down anymore. I mean, writing is great because it's the highest point of focus, but you really want to get in the habit of transforming negative belief systems within you. Try it for 21 days. You hear it everywhere. 21 days is the amount of time you need to change a habit, a belief, a thought process, right? So commit to it for 21 days, and that is the final step. Let me share with you what I've written down so you can get an idea of what you should do. So for my journal, so number one, again, is write down your limiting belief, and I wrote down I'm not abundant. What's the intensity? Number two, step number two of my belief, it's at a 5, I put. And then number four, write down evidence that supports your belief. So I wrote, I have everything I need. I have great resources to turn to when I need something extra. I understand that money is not the only way to give or show appreciation or to show your wealth. You can give your attention, warmth, presence, your effort, thought, and recognition, just like the binaural beats that I shared with people who were looking for some sound meditation. Anyway, that's something that I was going through at that time. So I was just writing down all the evidence that I could think of that made me abundant, that made me a wealthy person, and made me a resource to other people. I actually didn't write down the other steps in this entry, but for now, I'll just wing it. The next step is to write down your power words. So I would write down abundant, wealthy, resourceful, helpful, good person, although that's not an emotion, but, warm, things like that. And then I would rate the intensity of my limiting belief. So hopefully it would be, I didn't finish it in this journal entry, it would be at a lower degree, right? So if I started at a 5, hopefully it would have gone down a few notches. And then I would commit to doing this for the next 21 days. So I would work on this belief or beliefs around that theme, but work for it for 21 days. Okay, so that's my personal experience there. And then I want to share with you a book that I came across a couple of years ago. I was listening to Hay House Radio. Hay House Radio is really great. Definitely recommend it. And there was a woman on there, and her name, actually I think she has her own show. I'm not sure if she still has this show. Her name is Susie Casey. I think this is going to appear backwards. But Susie Casey, if you want to look her up, and she has this book called Belief Repatterning. She's awesome, and she created a bunch of a lot of writing exercises that you can do, kind of like what I just shared with you here, that you can use to transform negative belief systems. So I'm going to share one with you here. This is for forgiving yourself, okay? So step 1, I forgive myself for believing that I need to keep feeling blank, fill in the blank. Number 2, I give myself permission to stop feeling blank and start feeling blank. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen out? Maybe you should write it down. Or get the book. It's a great book. I know how it feels to be blank, and I know how it feels to be blank. Right? So let me say that again. I know how it feels to be blank, the negative emotion, and I know how it feels to be blank, the positive emotion. I choose blank, the positive emotion. I am free to create blank, positive emotion, feelings in my life. I felt blank, positive emotion, when I blank. So think of a time where those feelings were coming up for you. I begin defining myself as blank, positive emotion from now on. So, Belief Repatterning by Susie Casey. There's lots of tools. I like to give writing tools because that's what is most effective for me. And that's about it. So if you found this video helpful, share it with someone that you also would feel it's helpful to, and give me a like if you liked it. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.